Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now.
That's
See
right.
a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy.
Real slick.
I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got...
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Daily Vitamins. And so today, as you're coming in, be sure to like and share this video, because today I have Bishop Nathanyel from Israel United in Christ. Okay? And so he's going to be sharing some knowledge and wisdom with us and telling us about some of the things that have been going on with our people waking up, some of the things that happened with Kyrie and all of that. So everyone, let's get those fire emojis in the chat for Bishop Nathanyel. Fire emojis in the chat, everybody. Let's give it up. Let's give it up. Okay. And also, don't forget, like I said, don't forget to like and share. Okay. Subscribe to the channel and all of that. Okay. So Bishop, thank you so much for joining us today. I am so honored.
Thanks for having me, Queen Ahmadiyyah. I said it right? Queen Ahmadiyyah?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so it is absolutely my pleasure. The first thing I want you to talk to my audience about is I want you to tell us a little bit about, what made you come to what made you decide to found Israel United in Christ?
What brought me to found Israel United in Christ? Well,
yes,
I had 7 elders, and the 2 main ones passed away, and there was a split in Israel. I don't know if you remember the original school at 1 West 125th Street in Harlem.
Okay.
Yes, 2 main elders passed away, and there was a split in the school. And I visited various Israelite camps, and what I noticed that nobody was truly keeping the commandments. I saw a lot of thievery. I saw a lot of women being passed around like Skittles, from one man to the next. And I'm like, well, what about thou shalt not commit adultery? What about this? There were many things, and the Lord moved in my heart to put Israel United together back in 2003. So I did so. So that's how
Okay.
it started.
Okay. So
I'm
now
tired of
you
women being passed around like Skittles. I don't know about you.
Okay, I know that's right, because some of these men are absolutely nefarious. Okay. And some of the Hebrew brothers do like to have multiple wives and all of that. Now, so I'm glad your thoughts are different. Okay,
Yes.
so that's good to know. Okay, so now, a lot of us were raised as Christians in the Baptist church and all of that. When did you come to the realization that we are the Hebrews?
Mm.
And that the whole fictitious image of a white savior is just not the truth.
Well, I'll make a long story short. When I was in Christianity, a friend of mine named Pete, he was into Kemet. And he really asked me, well, who are you in the Bible? He asked me, were the people in the Bible black or white? And I didn't know. I said white. So he really cursed me out really bad. I can't use the same language he used on me, but I
Right.
needed it to wake me up.
Right.
And find out who you are, then you come talk to me. So that led me on a quest. So my godmother, God bless, rest her soul, she took me to Dr. Ben Yahakana, if you know about him, I'm sure, and
Mm-hmm.
various other people in the Kemetic community. From there, I went to the Nation of Islam under Farrakhan for a short while. And then a buddy of mine named Black from high school, he showed me a flyer, gave me a flyer that the people in the Bible is our people. And they had multiple scriptures of color, like Jeremiah 14:2, Job 30:30, Song of Solomon 1:5, Revelation 1:14-15. That showed Christ was black. And it blew me away. I was like, whoa. And I thought back on my friend Pete. And I said, if I could have just shown Pete this, so that really led me to the truth. And I went to the original school, which was 1 West 125th Street. Now it's what is it now? It's shut down. It's what is it? A Shake Shack or something like that. A money
Mm-hmm.
not money laundering. It's a money cash checking place now.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
So that's the history. And from there, to make it short, I founded Israel United in Christ in 2003, and the rest has been history.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Now, without giving too much information, because I know people be trying to gather intel, and we know who the people are that I'm talking about.
Yes.
Could you just tell us how many countries you all are in? We don't
Uh,
need any specific numbers or any of that,
we're in
as far as the members.
yes, we're in approximately 9 countries, approximately 9 countries.
Wow. Okay,
All praise
that's
to the
great.
Most High.
That's right. All praises to the Most High. Okay. Now, for those who are uninformed or who just don't know, could you tell us about the 12 tribes, like what people these are? Because a lot of people don't know. And then you see these lists passed around on social media and
Mhm.
different groups of people, and there's conflict with that. So if you could just clarify that.
Okay. Well, for those who don't know, the 12 tribes consist of Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And when I say Latinos and Native American, and I'm talking about those with Black and indigenous blood in them, I'm not talking about the Dawes Indians, those Caucasians that ran on the reservation. People be thinking that's what we're talking about. We're like, no, we're talking about the indigenous Indians that were dark skinned, that looked like us. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
Those that were sold on Wall Street along with us. Those that were sent to Spain and to Rome, Portugal, on slave ships. I said, that's what I'm talking about. A lot of people
Right.
don't like to do the research. Like if you
Mhm.
type in, I believe what is it, Mayan slave trade. They sent many of those Mayan Indians over to Spain as slaves. American Indians that look like us to England as slaves from Wall Street here in New York City. And a lot of people don't
Mhm.
like to sit down and do the research. They like to cause conflict. So there were 12 tribes in the Bible. You have Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon, Zebulun, Gad, Reuben, Asher, Issachar, and Naphtali. Now, these tribes, I want y'all to listen good. I'm not saying that it's just us here in the Americas. our people are scattered worldwide. Let me show you.
Right.
Let me show you that in Deuteronomy. This is one of the curses when we were making our exodus from Egypt into the northeast part of Africa, which was the land of Canaan. Today is called Israel, before the Suez Canal was created. Oh, I
Okay.
said something right there. Y'all at home, do your research on the Suez Canal. That's man-made. So they
All right.
Right. They cut off Egypt from Israel. That's what they did. So in
Okay.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 60, it reads, 64, I'm sorry. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So I'm going to slow it down a bit. So
Okay.
the sub-Saharan slave trade came. The Arabs took us into slavery into places like Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq. And if people type in Afro-Iran, Afro-Iraq, you'll see people that look like you and me.
Right.
Afro-India, like Siddis, Siddis. In India and Pakistan, they look like you and me. Those are our lost brothers and sisters that nobody talks about. Nobody's on a venture to retrieve them and bring them this knowledge. But we are. We are the one group, Queen Ahmadiyyah, that's gathering our people back together again. So I hope I summed it up. Yes, put this on the screen if y'all can. I believe this is Iran, Afro-Iran. Do you have Iraq? Put Iraq. I know our people, we really don't like to do too much research on these things.
Yeah, sadly, most of our people don't like to read and research. That's very true. I love to research.
Exactly. All praises. And like here, who is this? Iraq. These are people in Islam, but these are the descendants of the slaves. These are the descendants of the slaves. And they need to hear this truth. And it's like, we don't realize these are our lost brothers and sisters.
Absolutely.
Gathered back together.
And you know, that's very important. And I'm so glad that you're showing this, Bishop, because there's a lot of people who, I'm not going to say a lot, but there are some people who have animosity towards Black immigrants. Yes. And we're all the same people. Excellent. They didn't just take a slave ship and bring everybody to America. They took people to all around this world.
Yes.
And so we're all the same people. And so that just makes no sense to me. I think it's very divisive, and that keeps us from unifying collectively.
Exactly.
Yes.
100% right. Exactly.
Now, I would like to know, when you first heard about the backlash that Kyrie was receiving, what did you think about all of that for simply posting a link to a documentary?
Yes, exactly. What occurred to me, I got to read this first. I got to read.
Okay.
See, I love the Bible because the reason I love the Bible, Queen Ahmadiyyah, is because I didn't write it. It was written 3,000 years ago, so nobody can argue and say that's my opinion. No. So I like to read before I preface with my answer.
That's right.
Zechariah 11:5, it reads, it starts off talking about white folks, but then it talks about us. It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. So that's the white man. They possess us and they hold themselves not guilty. Then it says, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord. That's the white man that sells us. For I am rich. They became profitable, like Chase Bank, Bank of America, Barclay Bank. They became rich off of selling us. Now watch this. And their own shepherds, meaning our people, pity them not. Our Black leaders don't pity the low condition that we're in. Why? Because our Black leaders, like the Al Sharptons, the Jesse Jacksons, like now we know Al Sharpton got paid off of condemning Kyrie Irving. You got your Shaquille O'Neals,
absolutely,
your Charles Barkley's. What's the guy? Shannon Sharp,
Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith. It infuriated me that none of these Black leaders stood up on his behalf. So the Spirit moved me to have the brothers come together and say, listen, from the tri-state area, let's gather brothers and let's head out. And now I got one more scripture.
Okay, go ahead. Take your time.
Y'all know me. I gotta read it.
I love it. I love it.
All praise. I'm gonna go to Isaiah chapter 28, if I may, chapter 28, and I'm gonna read verse 14 and 15. And it reads, this is about our people. Wherefore hear the word of the Lord, you scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. So it's referring to the Black leaders. Now, verse 15, because you have said, we have made a covenant with death. Our Black leaders have made a covenant with this white man. That's the death. And with hell are we at agreement. They are complicit with our people being in a low state. the Lord then follows up by saying, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. Meaning, these are what these black leaders say. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. This is what the black leaders have done. So
Absolutely.
they're not our leaders. So we have to stand up on our own on what this Bible says and push the word of God forward and do the work that nobody else wants to do.
That's right. And you know, speaking of that, a lot of these so-called leaders, they're only in this for the money. And so they will throw their own people under the bus because they're receiving a check. They're getting benefits for doing so. And that's really sad. You know, and then the thing is, a lot of our people still look up to them and expect, you know, believe that they're actually doing something beneficial, because you have people like Al Sharpton who comes out there and he's a lot of lip service as far as I'm concerned. He gets out there on a clout chase, in my opinion, talks all this so-called pro-black stuff, but he's not really putting in the work.
Correct.
He's not really putting in the work. He's just painting a narrative.
And unfortunately, Queen, they say, many people have said about us, oh, you only went out there because Tyree Irving is a millionaire. I don't follow basketball. I don't know the stats. I don't know who makes what. I know injustice when I see it.
That's right.
We're going to take a stand. It had nothing to do with his financial gain at all. Nothing to do with that at all. If I could show you a clip real quick to show you that we've been fighting this fight for a long time. I want the one, come on, I want the one where we have gone, Sandra Bland's mom, Ferguson. Come on, brothers. I don't need.
You've been boots on the ground.
Yes.
And really putting in the work. Absolutely.
Exactly. Okay. Come on. You got it.
And our people who would say that, Bishop, are the ones who wouldn't be doing anything.
Exactly. Stuff from the beginning. This is real short, Queen.
Yeah, take your time.
Beginning. Come on, y'all.
Take your time.
That's Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin rally, Charleston AME shooting. Sandra Bland's mom, we met her, spoke with her. Buffalo Massacre. This is Ahmaud Arbery shooting. We were there. Million Man March. We were there. Okay. So when people say that we only went out there for money, they don't know us.
That's
right. They don't know us. They make a big mistake on comparing us to your Jamal Bryants or your Al Sharpton. Big mistake, buddy.
Absolutely. Because those people, like I said, are being paid to say certain things and do certain things. Right. Now, if you could, Bishop, tell us a little bit about what happened when you all got to the Barclays Center to protest for Kyrie's behalf.
It's a funny story. When we went to the Barclays Center, we noticed, because, you know, we circled the Barclays Center, and believe me, it was more than hundreds of us. Well, that's what the ADL.
Oh, I can see that. Right. That's what they tried to paint the narrative. Like 200 or 300, they said.
Yes. And
much more than that.
While we circled the Barclays Center, there were busloads of so-called, and I say so-called because they're not the real Jews, so-called Jewish people that came on busloads upon busloads to the Barclays Center. And we looking through the tinted windows. They looking at us. One opened the door. He yells out, "Schwarzer Dreck." That means black shit. Excuse me.
Oh, wow.
That's I yell back, "Edomi Kalab," meaning Edomite dog. So, I'm just joking with that part. But they had intended to circle the bar, because it was like, I think about 5,000. Put it on the screen. About 5,000 of them or so. But they saw us and they didn't want to deal with us. They didn't want no parts of.
They saw you all and knew it was time to go.
Exactly. They said time to go. Oy vey.
Well, you know what? That is absolutely so good that you all were there. Because can you imagine? And that was unexpected for them, I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure they did not expect that.
They wanted to protest against Kyrie Irving. Just like, remember, it was one of his games where they went, about 8 of them, 8 Jewish people were wearing shirts. I think it said, "Say no to anti-Semitism." Remember, it was like 8 of them that sat there trying to mock Kyrie Irving. So
right.
What all these, see, Jewish people have a history with black people. These Jewish people, they hate our people. They cannot stand us. They'll make believe they love us, but in reality, a lot of them, I'm talking about the elite leaders, they despise us. Like it says, watch this, I got to show you. Now, it's not just them. I don't want to separate them from the rest of the Caucasians. I'm putting them all in the barrel together. When you go to Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 5, it reads this about Caucasian people. Now, their biblical name is Edom, Esau. They dwelt at one time in Mount Seir, which now they dwelt in the Caucasus Mountains, excuse me.
Right. Okay.
Verse 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. A lot of people don't realize that so-called Jewish people filled the ranks of the original conquistadors. They were the colonists that colonized America, a lot of them, and they were part of the bringing the downfall and the enslavement. They were part of the slave trade. Not only did they insure the slave ships, they insured slave bodies. That's what they did. And a lot of people don't realize that. And it's not taught in any school. Why? Because they got the clout. They got the money. Keep that out of the school system. So a lot of people, especially Christians, like to separate Jewish people from other Caucasians. No, when you read the Bible, they're one and the same.
That's right.
36.
That's right.
Okay.
Absolutely. So with the ridicule that came, after our brother Kyrie posted that link, do you feel like that maybe awakened more people to make them want to research and find out the truth of who they are? Because sometimes when you try to hide something in the dark, you actually, inadvertently shed more light on it. So what are your thoughts on that?
There's something that's called the Streisand, the Barbara Streisand effect. If y'all Google it, she had built a huge house on a cliff, and she didn't want nobody to know about it. But 4 people saw it and took a picture. Only 4 people. She ran to court to get an injunction for them not to upload the pictures. Because she filed that injunction, millions of people saw her house and where it was. If she had just left it alone, only 4 people about it. So that's the same thing with Kyrie. I know God moved the hearts of these Jewish people to make a big thing with that little tweet, and it gave national exposure to who the Semites are, who the Hebrews are, who the Jews are, who the Israelites are. If they had just left it alone. Now, millions of people are researching us, trying to, put that on the screen. This is what I was talking about. Put it on the screen. Put it on the screen. Yes, the basketball game. You see him with the shirts.
I see that.
This is what the so-called fake rabbis wanted to do too, all around the Barclays Center. But hell no, you must go. So
Absolutely. So good you all have Brother Kyrie's back. Yes. So that's all very interesting. So I absolutely think they shone more light on it by doing that. And it was just, and the thing was, all of the ridicule and calling him anti-Semitic and all of that when he simply posted a link. But at the end of the day, I had never heard of that documentary. Once all this to-do started, I said, wait a minute, let me stream this. I got to see what this is all about.
Yes.
Okay. And so now I would like to know, when you all are out in the streets, and reading the scriptures and things like that, what is the reaction that you get from non-Black people?
Well, from non-Black people, I'm gonna give you a prophecy. Isaiah 13 and verse 2. This is what the Lord says through Isaiah. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. The banner is the Bible. The high mountain is Babylon the Great, which is symbolically the United States of America. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice. So when we're on the street, we exalt the voice, as many of your viewers may know. Shake the hand. When you shake the hand, you are telling people off, you're correcting them. Then it says that they may go into the gates of the nobles. So many non-Blacks are going into the gates of the nobles. They are complaining to mayors, to governors, to the president, that you need to get these Israelites off the street. They're revealing us. They're saying that they're the real Israelites and we're not. Oh, yes, we are going to expose you for who you are. That's why Christ called us the lost sheep of the house of Israel, okay?
Right.
That's what's happening.
Okay. So now,
this is us in Nigeria, Queen. Put it back. This is us in Nigeria. If you ever, we're all over.
Okay.
We're all over the place.
Yeah, I had no idea that you all were in Africa. I had no idea.
There's been a media blackout on us with mainstream media, and this is why we depend on networks like yours and others to shed light on us. Okay?
Absolutely. Glad to do so.
All praises, all praises.
Okay. I love it.
Yes.
Now, so let's talk about how they try to paint you all as a hate group, which I find very interesting, seeing as how the KKK is allowed to register as a Christian group.
Right.
Okay. And a few years ago, there was a shooting at a kosher market, I think in New Jersey, and they said that the person was related to the Hebrew Israelite, a Black Hebrew Israelite group and all this. Then later, I read that there was nothing to substantiate that, and they had no evidence to even suggest. So they were clearly painting a narrative. And I'm sure you all get a lot of that. So speak on that if you would.
Yes, ma'am. It's the same thing that happened with the Black Messiah, whom the world calls Christ, when false narratives were brought up against him, that he was trying to establish himself as king, things of that nature. So now you have Jonathan Greenblatt, head of the ADL, as well as the Southern Poverty Law Center. They have us as number 3 on the hate groups list, and the Ku Klux Klan, believe it or not, are like number 20.
What?
Wait a minute. We haven't burned no houses. We ain't burned no cross. We've not harmed nobody. But they keep saying, now, see, this is why when they said that we Black Hebrews murdered people in New Jersey, the police, as well as the FBI, came down to my house to do a random interview. And they showed me photos of the event. And I said, hey, they're not even dressed like Hebrews. And the FBI agent, and I have the video, I'm waiting for court. They said, we know they weren't Hebrews, but we have to just go around because the ADL and the SPLC have a lot of money, chutzpah, and they're pushing the narrative to shut the. See, they don't care. Their fight is not against Christianity. Their fight is not so much against Islam in America. Their fight is not against the Kemetic community. Their real fight is against the Israelites, because we are the people of the book. The charade is over, ADL and SPLC. The charade is over. And that's why they have a campaign against us, and they have us as number 3 on the hate list.
That's absolutely crazy when you haven't done anything.
There was a shooting a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, where a so-called rabbi and his son got shot by Jonathan Greenblatt. Brought this out on the
Breakfast Club.
And I found a picture of the shooter.
Oh, really? Because they didn't show him. Oh, wow. So that's him.
That's him. Hey,
wow.
Don't say Bishop Nathanyel. That ain't me.
Wow. Isn't that something? So they were likely trying to paint a narrative that it was one of us.
Yes, and they're hoping that Black people are that stupid that they'll fall for it. See, they don't want Black people to research us, come into our ranks, and swell our organization. They don't want that. They say, no, there's too many of them. Let's shut them down. Use the media. If you think about it, Breakfast Club is a Black and Latino, primarily Black media outlet.
Media program, right.
Media program, thank you. Nobody heard of Jonathan Greenblatt.
No.
Nobody knows who he is. But he had the chutzpah to tell Charlemagne, I'm going on your show. Charlemagne, the good, says, okay, yes, massa, and shuts up. And this man is allowed to and Charlemagne never challenged him on nothing he said, if y'all noticed that.
I did notice that, and I'm glad you brought that up, because he's the same one who also said that when someone like Kanye West comes out and says certain things, they have to stop him. Basically, not verbatim, but I'm paraphrasing. But he said something along the lines of they have to shut him down. They can't allow that, And so Charlemagne sat there and didn't say one word to dispute what he said.
Exactly.
That's why I call him Charlemagne the devil.
He's used as a whipping stick against Black people. He's just like Shannon Sharp, Charles Barkley's just like them. And I'm sorry, I thought I had liked Charlemagne, but I'm like, yo, this dude is against his own people.
Yes, it's all for money, though.
Yes.
That's the sad thing. Some people worship money, and in doing so, they will turn their back on their own people. They'll do anything to get it. That's how I see it.
Right. They're economic slaves. Slaves. And you know what? Can I read this? I got it.
Sure.
I got it about money real quick if I can find it. 1 Timothy, let me get it. Let me find it. Chapter 6, and it reads, verse 5 to 7. I'll read it quickly.
Mhm.
Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such turn away, from such withdraw yourself. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us be there with content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which draw men into destruction and perdition. So that's what the love of money does. When
That's
you
where
love
it
money
gets you.
becomes your God, you'll turn against your people. Regardless if your people is telling the biblical God-given truth, they don't care. They will
That's
speak
right.
against you and condemn you.
That's right. And so, what do you think about these people amongst us who actually, they talk pro black sometimes, but they've been paid by the powers that shouldn't be, usually by the FBI, right? To act as agents to try to usurp the movement. Or, in fact, these days, they don't do the COINTELPRO tactics where they infiltrate, but what they do is they start leading movements.
Right.
What do you think about that, and how problematic is that?
It's very, very problematic, and I'm gonna preference it by reading the scripture
Okay.
about Christ. This is what they did to the black Messiah. I'm in
Mhm.
Luke 20, verse 20. And they watched him and sent forth spies, which should feign themselves just men, that they might take hold of his words, that so they might deliver him unto the power and authority of the governor. You had black people set up as spies, infiltrate the disciples of Christ. Okay, Judas
Mhm.
being a main one, as we found out later on. And now today, adjacent with COINTELPRO, they just changed their name. Put it on the screen. Put it on the screen. COINTELPRO is called Black Extremist Organizations Today.
Right.
Edgar Hoover said uh, he was asked what his opinion was the single greatest threat to the United States of America. He responded, Negro unity. Okay, and it's the same today. White
Right.
people don't like black people organizing, coming together. So they send other black people to infiltrate, research, and try to bring us down from within. But that's not going to work with us. They're going to have to lie on us. They're going to have to set up false narratives on us, like they did with
Mhm.
the Jersey shooting. That's what they're going to have to
Right.
do. Okay, because we
Right.
stay true to the Bible. We keep the commandments and believe in the black Messiah. You ain't going to get us on no lying, no stealing, no shooting. You ain't going to get us that way. We're the wrong
That's right.
group, buddy.
And so, what are your thoughts on these people who call themselves pro-black, but they publicly speak against unity of us, the African Americans, so-called African Americans, with the black immigrants? If they're being divisive and saying that we're different than them, we shouldn't be unifying with them because they think this way, and all of that. What do you think about that? Is that truly someone who you would consider as being pro-black?
No, not at all. Not at all. Anyone that speaks against the unification of black people, because they don't speak against Chinese when Chinese organize themselves in Chinatown, or Italians organize themselves in Little Italy, or the European Union that does not include any black people in the G7. Okay,
Mhm.
there's no black nations in the G7. But when black people talk about organizing, coming together, like they did in Black Wall Street,
Rosewood.
Rosewood, white folks bombed them, killed
Yes.
our people. And our people need to wake up and take a look at history. And they're going to try and do it all again today. And I like sister, what's her name? Karen Bass. I believe
Mhm.
she became the new mayor of California, LA, right? But
Mhm.
when they brought up the Hebrews, the Israelites in Congress, the head of the FBI said, you have black extremist organizations like the Hebrews. So she said, well, talk about them. Have they burned crosses? What have they done? He had nothing to say. She shut
Right.
them down.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that. She sure did. I loved it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Shout out to her because I absolutely love the way she grilled them and he could not say one word. I believe I talked about that on my show, showed that video. Yes,
Yes.
she went in on him.
Yes.
And that's good because don't sit here and try to paint narratives and liken, the Hebrew Israelites to the Klan, the white nationalists, the neo-Nazis, when you all have not done anything hateful. You've simply been speaking the word.
Exactly.
And speaking the truth. And the thing that I notice is that when you speak the truth, you will be often hated and ridiculed for simply telling the truth.
Exactly.
One thing that I seem to notice specifically on YouTube is those of us who speak the truth. Well, we're overshadowed by those who speak the lies, because they're con and they're grifting and all of that. I guess it's more tantalizing than hearing the truth.
Exactly. Just recently, a lot of people that have spoken evil against IUIC, they see they can't stop it. So now they're saying, oh, I taught Bishop Nathanyel. I taught him. No, buddy, you didn't teach me. These are the same ones that wanted me dead. Now they want to tell everybody how they knew me in the past. Nobody, stop it. Just stop.
Isn't that something? Now they want to get clout off you. That's what that is.
Exactly. You can't make
it. Yeah, you absolutely can't. So now here's something I've noticed too lately. Tell me your thoughts on this. I've seen that anytime on the internet a black man, specifically a celebrity, someone who everybody knows, comes out and says something empowering about black women, such as, oh, I love black women are beautiful, or they say protect all black women. There are Karens and Beckys who come out and then get mad and say, well, you're being divisive. You're not being inclusive. Why don't you just say all women, protect all women? I just showed a video the other day. What do you think about that? The fact that it so seems to bother many of them when we empower one another, or even when we use the term black, period. It seems like that's such an issue.
All right. In Hebrews 13, verse 4, the Most High said, marriage is honorable in all, and a bed undefiled. And what we teach is the black man and black woman must come together. If you remember, during the civil rights reign, like during the 50s and 60s, there was a CIA agent named Gloria Steinem.
Yes,
and
I remember
she was
her.
used to separate the black woman from the black man. And they pushed the feminist movement. So now in these last days, we're trying to bring back the black woman and the black man as one. The scriptures say the two shall be one. We're one. Okay, we came on the same slave ship, sister. We can't.
That's right.
And white society despises that. So the narrative now, just put it up. The narrative now, like on the TV media, you see a lot of shows, they're pushing same-sex marriage. They're pushing black women with white men, or black men with white women. And
absolutely,
the Bible teaches contrary to interracial marriage, and a lot of people don't realize that. The Bible is against interracial marriage.
Yes, because you're supposed to stay within your own tribe.
Yes, within your own nation. Put it within your own
nation. Right. That's right.
We are a kingdom. We are a nation of people. We're more than a community. We're more than an organization, and that's what we teach. We are a kingdom. We are a nation of people. And our goal is to organize us, bring us together as the 12 tribes of Israel.
Absolutely. I love it. So now let me ask you this, Bishop. So people who, in fact, date or marry outside of their relationship or outside of their people, right? Outside of their race, would you consider those people to be pro-black? And the reason I ask this is because I got into a debate with someone days ago about this same topic. And they said, well, Harry Belafonte and Sidney Poitier, they were pro-black and they married white women. And I said, well, to me, that makes them proactive, not pro-black. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I tend to agree with you. I have to agree with you on that. Marriage is a political decision. When you read Numbers 31, I'll sum it up because it's some reading. I'll just sum it up. The children of Israel, when we came out of Egypt, we were the mightiest nation on earth, and the other nations could not defeat us. When you get to Numbers 31, actually Numbers 30 on, the children of Israel started to commit sexual relations with the children of Moab, which are your modern day Chinese, but back then they were brown complexion. Now I'm going to read Numbers 31, verse 15 and 16. Watch what Moses said. And Moses said unto them, have ye saved all the women alive? Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor, and there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. So what had happened was Moab had sent their women in to deceive the men into sexual relations with them to get the men to worship idols. And that's exactly what happened. So Moses got mad at the children of Israel for dealing with these other women of other nations. So our people really need to get into the history, because who you marry to show us who your allegiance is to at the end of the day. I know Harry Belafonte, he was so-called pro-black, but at the end of the day, you'll see that their allegiance is to that person they lay down with at night.
That's right.
Give you an example of Christianity.
Okay.
Like, say I got a black wife. Ask them, who does she pray to? who is her God? Who is her savior? If she says a white Jesus, Jesus is white. White Jesus got her soul, got her mind. She might lay down black, but at night she prays and reverences white society. Also, another thing, understand this.
Mm-hmm.
When you are against white supremacy, if you celebrate things like Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th
Preach.
of July, those are white supremacist holidays.
Exactly.
Your mind is still, her mind or his mind is still worshiping the beast that the
And
Bible
it
speaks of.
and it speaks of that in the Bible about it says, do not follow the ways of the heathen, for they will go into the forest, cut down a tree, fix it with nails, and adorn it with silver and gold. That's a Christmas tree.
Yes, Jeremiah 10, 1 through 5, correct. Oh, I
All
see
right.
you've been reading.
Oh,
You've been studying.
Yes, I told you I love to research.
All praises.
Okay, absolutely. Now, so what do you think about a so-called pro-black person who would say, because I heard someone actually say this and they were so serious. They said they're very pro-black, but they will quickly put up the European flag in the bedroom. I already know what you think about it, but I just want you to answer that because I thought that was crazy.
When you say the European flag, are you talking about the 50 states flag, red, white, and blue? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know. They said European, which let me know they want to sleep with white women. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Because they said in the bedroom.
Oh,
okay.
In the bedroom.
Yeah, they said I'm pro-black, but I will put up the European flag in the bedroom. And they made a reference to Hulk Hogan's daughter, Brooke, how fine she was.
What the?
I know that's what I said, honey.
No, I'm gonna go to just for your viewers, I'm gonna go to a scripture, and I want all of y'all, if you can, to read along with me. If I can just find it.
Okay.
Book of Nehemiah. Oh, here it goes. Nehemiah, excuse me, chapter 13. It's about King Solomon. Now we all know Song of Solomon 1:5. King Solomon said, "I am black,
but comely."
That's right.
That's right.
So now, here it goes. Nehemiah chapter 13. I'm gonna read verse 23 down.
Okay.
In those days also saw I Jews, these are black Jews, that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by God, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons or for yourselves. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? And yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was made beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. So the Bible records that we are not to be marrying women of other nations. Christians don't abide in this. A lot of our people, they have to learn all over again. And that's what we're here for, to teach the Bible correctly. We're the group, we're the community, we're the organization, we're the kingdom, we're the nation that's going to organize Israel correctly according to the scriptures.
That's right, because it's basically like we have to reprogram our people, because we have been, as a people, collectively brainwashed and through colonization and all of these things and the narratives that have been painted. So now another thing is, you know, in the Bible, when it speaks of King Solomon and Samson, I also didn't know this when I was younger, but it said that they had locks upon their heads.
Correct.
So I thought that was interesting. I said, okay, so this definitely proves to me that they were black. These people that they spoke of in the Bible were black.
Right. Correct. They also talk about that in the New Testament with the women. If I may, I just want to point this out about the women. First Timothy, I believe it is. Bear with me.
Take your time.
Okay, I'm in First Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with where's the part about? Oh yeah, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array. What that means is that our women used to wear broidered hair, but now in the church particularly, that's their crown. I won't say crown, that's how they get their glory. When you read down verse 10, it says, but which becometh godliness, professing godliness with good works. So Paul was telling the women, don't just let your hair be your, give me a word, how you get your glory. Let it be the inner
Okay.
person. Let it
Right.
be the holiness within, because like today, our women, they have broidered hair even today, and that's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
that's all. Inside, many of them are empty shells.
Right.
If I can, there was a woman, I won't name her name, you might know her. She
Mm-hmm.
did a video twerking in front of Planned Parenthood. I
Yeah, I
remember
remember that. I remember that.
that was
Yes.
filthy, disgusting. I don't even want to say her name. I remember the name, but I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
say the name, because my prayer is that our sisters with their beauty could come in, learn, broaden your hair, fine, but get the inner soul right. Keep
That's
God's
right.
commandments. That's my prayer. That's what we teach. Just get right so that we can unify as a race, as a people, as a kingdom.
That's right.
Mhm.
And lately, Bishop, there seems to be a lot of propaganda being spewed to be divisive between the black man and the black woman. For example, I hear some black women saying, I'm a strong black woman, I don't need no man. And that sounds like the feminist BS to me. And
Right,
then you have these, like I went in Walmart one day and I saw a picture, these advertisements they had posted, and they had a white woman and a white man with their children. They had a Latino or Mexican woman with a husband and children. They had the black woman pregnant holding the hands of two other children, no husband. And
right.
so they put these things out there. Now, what do you think about the role that these gender politics, or I call them politricks, that they love to play? Trying to emasculate, trying to effeminize the men, but trying to make women more masculine.
Right, right, exactly. The in the Bible, it teaches us regarding marriage. I already referenced that Hebrews 13:4, marriage is honorable. In Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 11:3, Christ said this through Paul. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. There's order in family structure. God, Christ, man, woman. All nations, when you look at, like you said, white society, it goes man, woman, God, man, woman. China, Chinese, God, man, woman. East India, God, man, woman. But when it comes to black people, it's not like that. You'll have the
Mm-hmm.
woman and no man. She'll be pregnant. She'll either have a baby by herself or she'll have an abortion. And all that's
Mm-hmm.
meant to deceive us mentally and spiritually, to keep us at the bottom of society. That's why I
Right.
said we got to come back to the values of what this Bible teaches, because the Bible teaches us how to organize, how the family is to be structured, how the elder women are supposed to be. If I can, it just popped into my head. Let me
Mm-hmm.
show you this, because people often ask me this. What is the role of the black woman? When you go to Timothy, mm, First Timothy chapter 3, I believe it is. No,
Okay.
Second Timothy. I'm sorry. Chapter 3. mm, Bear with me. I went to one. Oh, Titus. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's me. Titus chapter 3 and verse, I believe it's, bear with me a second.
Oh, take your time.
Usually have a reader, but it's all right. Here it goes. Titus chapter 2 and verse 3. And it says, the aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, that means gossiping, not
Mm-hmm.
given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient, to love their husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. That's not done in the black community. You could go into any church, that's not applied. But here,
Nope.
what we do, we tell the older women, learn this Bible, teach these young sisters. And our job as men, when you read above it, it says, excuse me, verse 2, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. Our job is to be role models to these young men, to bring the family together. And that's what we teach. That's what we push. And I would enjoy all you sisters and brothers. Listen good. We got to organize correctly according to the structure God has set forth from us. Not my opinion, but what has been recorded 3,000, 2,000 years ago. We got to
Mm-hmm.
come back to the book.
Absolutely. That's the only way we're going to get it together and stay unified,
Mhm.
collectively.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, a lot of our people, what do you have to say about those amongst us who are afraid to give up this image that they cling to of a white Messiah who in fact looks like Caesar Borgia?
Hey,
Just saying.
yes, ma'am. That white's image is the image of the beast. I'm going to read that real quick. Can we get, oh, I'm about to say, can we get that? Let me read it. Revelation 4. Well, I'll start with Matthew 24
Okay.
because it's quicker and to the point. Matthew, the 24th chapter. This is Christ speaking, the Black Messiah. He said this, Matthew 24, verse 4, and it reads, and Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Now, what history likes to do is forget the history of the conquistadors. They came with these images of a white Jesus when they slaughtered the Black American Indians. They came with that. And then in the 14, 15, 1600s, they enslaved us and put that image, put it back on the screen, and deceived us with this, saying, this is Jesus. So that way, that's why it's all in your churches today. Many of our Black mothers and our effeminate fathers, or effeminate men, have this plastered in their church around their necks on a cross in their minds. They celebrate Christmas. They celebrate Thanksgiving. They celebrate every white supremacist holiday. These are the ones we got to be careful of. Now, I'll say this about that. It is recorded in Revelation 13, if I may. I just got to show the prophecy, Revelation 13 and verse 13. It says this. This is what it says about white society. And he doeth great wonders, talk about the white man, so that he maketh fire come down, upon from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. World War II, they dropped the atom bomb, verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. The word beast references mankind, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had a wound by the sword and did live. When Rome fell in the 1400s, just before that, it was Renaissance in 1453. It came back during the Renaissance, 1452, And the image of Caesar, can we put it back on the screen? Rome exalted this image worldwide. And Leonardo da Vinci, if we could put the sketches on the screen, Leonardo da Vinci was the first one to paint Caesar Borgia as the Renaissance Jesus. These are his sketches, okay? Move that one over to the side so we can see the 3/4 view. Nope. Yes, right there. If you can see the side view and the 3/4 view, okay?
Exactly.
Okay. Right. So, and that's the image that they made to the beast, which references the so-called white man. And the whole world today worships that image. But there is a penalty. There is a penalty for dying in the sin of believing that this false image is the Messiah. There's a judgment for that.
Okay.
Oh, you want to know the judgment? Do you
Absolutely. Yes, I would love to know it. I'm so glad you asked.
Yes. Revelation 14. I'm going to start at verse 9. Watch this. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, meaning worship the white man, and his image, his image, watch this. If any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead, meaning you believe their religions, their politics, or in their hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. That's the thermonuclear destruction. Put that on the screen so they can see it. When World War III kicks off, the only ones being delivered are those Israelites that believe in the Black Messiah. Let's see the Black Messiah real quick. Put the Messiah. This is just an image we painted. I'm not saying this is him. I'm just saying.
But it's very reminiscent of what the Bible describes him as.
Yes. If you could take a look at that brother right there.
Yes.
Read Revelation chapter 1. If I can read it, Queen. If I can.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
The Messiah. Let me get it. Keep that on the screen, please. Revelation chapter 1, verse 14 and 15 reads, His head and his hairs were white like wool, meaning the hair on his head and the hair on his face was white like wool. Wool is a texture. Wool is a texture, what we call Afro hair today, as white
Right.
as snow. His eyes as a flame of fire because he drank wine in moderation. And then it goes on, and his feet like unto fine brass. Brass is brown, as if they burned in a
In
furnace.
the furnace.
He was dark brown, not light brown, but dark brown. And his voice as the sound of many waters, meaning Christ spoke loud. So when we show this image, some of our people who love white supremacy, they get mad. They want to fight. They want to kick the Bible, smack the Bible out of our hands. Come on. Is that what you have for your people that much, brother? Sister,
Right.
let's wake up. Put them both of them on the screen. So the Bible describes the black image, but there's no biblical description of a Caucasian Jesus. We got to start challenging the Christian church ministers. Let's start challenging Al Sharpton, Jamal Bryant, Juanita Bynum, what's the big man? T.D. Jakes, Creflo. Show us in the Bible that Christ was white. You know what they're going to say? Color doesn't matter.
That's what they're going to say. That's absolutely what they're going to say.
He's black. Now it don't matter. After centuries, it don't matter. But before, when you thought he was white and you got paid to teach that he was white, it all
That's
mattered.
right.
Now that we show you the biblical proof, now it don't matter. Come on.
Well, they will definitely do that, Bishop. In fact, years ago, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, a friend, me and a friend went to a church and we started telling some of this truth, and they ran us up out of there. And the pastor went to his car and got his pistol.
Woo! Oh,
that's how serious it got. Now I'm like, wait a minute now. Say what?
Now I can relate to that because that
just for speaking
us.
The truth.
Where were we at when that happened? When they pulled guns at us? Minnesota. Minnesota came out. The men came out with guns, talking about, we heard about you. We don't want to hear about that. No black Jesus. You can't make this stuff up.
That the brainwashing is serious.
White supremacy reigns in the earth. We got a big job to do, but we the ones to do it.
We absolutely do. The indoctrination is real. You know, also, I read that back in the 60s or maybe the early 70s, Ebony magazine posted had an edition with a black Messiah on the cover. And black people were mad and demanded that they remove it. That they take it out of print.
Yes. Ebony magazine got mad with the black Jesus. They said they were going to pull their subscriptions, almost put Ebony magazine out of business. Our black people, and I hate to say this, but I have to say it. Black men are not really, put it on the screen, black men are not really filling the church. Black men are leaving. It's our lovely sisters that primarily 70% fill the church. Our sisters got to come out of the Christian church. That's it right there. That's it.
That's
right
it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because of that, black people wanted to cancel Ebony magazine.
They absolutely
today
did.
People want to know, how come black men are leaving the church? There's nothing for us in there. Our sisters rule and dominate us. The black men, we're effeminate and weak. We got to leave that. We got to leave that institution of white supremacy. We got to be the men God commanded us to be.
And I'll tell you another thing too, Bishop. Now, I heard years ago that a lot of these black Christian pastors, that they're actually rewarded with a 501c3 so they don't have to pay taxes and all of that as part of their compensation for agreeing to not speak about Deuteronomy 28:68.
Well, let me correct. I know very well about that. The 501c3, now I got one. So I know what we talk about. Lyndon B. Johnson with the 501, he put a clause in there that said you're not allowed to use money to back a politician. That's why many, like T.D. Jakes, he'll never get his group to back anybody. That's why they don't really talk about that too.
Okay.
But and to back you up, there is something called the faith-based initiative that came out during, I believe it was Bush, where they're not allowed to teach about Black Christ, Deuteronomy 28,
right?
Faith-based initiative, and they got government grants to push the COVID vaccine drug and things of that. When anytime the government comes out with something, the FBI, that's what I call it, it's the faith-based initiative, has these congregations, Christian, push that narrative, and they get money of grants to get buildings, to get buses, things like that. Put that on the screen. Put that. Oh, yes, faith. That's it right there. It was Bush. Thank you. That's it right there. Okay.
Now, so Bishop, I want to ask you, what do you think about what Kanye has been doing lately with exposing, certain things or whatever? What are your thoughts on that? Some
Well,
people don't like the fact, that he wore the White Lives Matter and all that stuff or whatever. He has been speaking some truth, but I would like to know your thoughts on that.
my thoughts on brother Ye. He needs guidance. He's a young man that needs the guidance of senior men. Now,
Mm-hmm.
he has brought out some relevant points about the industry that many of us, I know I didn't know, about
Mm-hmm.
blood sacrifice, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
He said his mother was sacrificed. He
Mm-hmm.
said Bill Cosby son was sacrificed. Michael Jordan's son was sacrificed. So that
His
really
father, Michael Jordan's father.
Michael Jordan's father. Okay,
Yes.
thank you for the correction. So it really shocked me. He brought out like what's that Balenciaga? What's the name of that group?
Balenciaga.
Balenciaga. That means Baal is king. When you read in the Bible about
Yes.
Baal, that means Baal is king, and they push, from what I've seen, child. What is it called? Pedophilia. Pedophilia.
Yeah.
Push that.
Mm-hmm.
And Kanye has been instrumental. He also pushed and said that we are the 12 tribes of Israel, which he was
Mm-hmm.
correct. And that is the one statement that got him in hot water. And
Yes.
remember, when you push that, they cancel you. They cancel your money. Now, listen good what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy Williams refused to take the vaccine. They shut her bank accounts down. They
Yes.
said she was crazy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they did it with Wendy Williams, Kanye. Who else? They did it to somebody else. Oh,
Shut down their bank accounts?
Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate.
Really?
They shut him. That's why he lives in Romania now. If you don't
Wow.
go with their policies, they shut you. If you don't have their mark in your mind, you don't believe what they
Mm-hmm.
say. Hey, we were in Nigeria teaching, and I went to pay for something, and it said card declined. Card declined.
Mm-hmm.
I called up the accountant. I said, "Hey, what's going on?" He said, "Bishop, the bank shut us down. They shut
Wow.
every account down." I'm in Nigeria, mad and scared as hell at the same time because I had
Right.
no funds. I had to call my brothers in Amsterdam, I forgot what, in the UK. I had to reach out to them for them to help us, wire us some money because we were stranded out there. But
This is serious.
that's what they do, and that's what Revelation is talking about. They will shut you down. Okay, and it's only going to escalate. It ain't.
It's going to get worse with this digital currency.
Yes, that's right. It's going to
Because
get
they're going to have, they can just push a button and just shut everything down for you at that point.
That's right.
So it's only going to get worse from here.
Black people, wake up. You're the Israelites. Please wake up, brothers. Wake up, sisters. Come join us. Help us. There's too much work to be done. We need your help.
That's right. That's right. And so now, what do you think about reparations? Do you think that there actually is any initiative or intent for them to give us reparations, or this whole thing is just a lot of lip service? Because to me, it's just like monuments of nothingness, just enough to keep us strung along or whatever. That's just what it seems like to me.
I got to write that down. Monuments of nothingness. That's exactly what it is. If I can, I'm going to reference a prophecy in Isaiah 42 and verse 22. It reads about us. It says, "But this is a people robbed and spoiled," meaning they took everything from us. Our history, our culture, our language, our country. They broke our families up. It says, "They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses." Watch this. "They are for a prey, and none delivers them, for a spoil, and none saith, restore." There's no nation. I want y'all to listen good to what I'm about to say. There's no nation. Listen good to what I'm saying. There's no nation that says restore to these people their heritage, that they're the Israelites. Restore to them the reparations they so deserve. We've been in captivity for listen good to what I'm about to say. Many people say 1619, but how does it say? Au contraire, mon frère. We were in captivity from Spain in 1441. I want everybody to do the math. From 1441, they took us from Ghana and sent us to Spain and Portugal. From there, they took us to America. Do the math from 1441 to 1865. Are you good at math?
Not unless I have a calculator.
Okay. It's about 424 years approximately. I'm not good at math either, but it's around there. No reparation from the United States of America. Why? Because listen good to what I'm about to say. If the white, now I'm not telling you, always get some one white snaggle to a white man or white woman and say, give him reparations. No, we're talking about as a nation. They gave reparations to the white man that's owned us. In 2015, the UK just finished giving reparations to the slave owners. Many of the bank institutions got reparations, and many here in America, the white slave owners, not the slaves. Now, if the white folks who are called Esau, Edom in the Bible, if they give us reparations, guess who we got to go after then? The Arabs, the Chinese. Oh, it don't stop there. And it's not just the so-called blacks, as they call us. What about the Mexicans? They're not going to do it. I want everybody to wake up. They're not going to do it. And guess what? Chris, was it Dave Chappelle? I believe, or maybe it was Chris Rock. I forgot. They made a joke. They said if they did give black people millions of dollars per person, that money would be back in the white community overnight.
That was Faison Love.
Yes. Who said that?
Yes.
You know who?
Faison Love.
Okay. So we got to wake up. And guess what? They gave the Japanese reparations for World War II. They were in concentration. They were in prison camps for 5 years. They gave the so-called Jewish man reparations, billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars for 5 or 6 years. Well, what about our 424 years? Nobody want to talk about that. Nobody care about that. That's why I said this hatred is deep. It's deep. They hate the children of Israel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Bishop, listen, I really appreciate you coming on here. I'm not going to hold you so long because I know you have other things to do. But before we go, in closing, if you have anything you want to promote, such as any events you're going to be at, any books or anything that you have out, DVDs, anything like that, please feel free to tell us. Because I see it looks like YouTube is messing with the stream a little bit. I saw someone say they saw a little static. They don't like when too much truth is being told.
And they play with our numbers. One day we did a class. We got like 3,000 in one night. That very next day we had like 150. We're like, what the hell is this?
Right.
Because they know black people draw the numbers. They keep
that's right.
Hindered. So, brothers and sisters, visit our website at www.israelunite.org. Visit us at IUIC in the classroom. That's on YouTube. We have www.originalroyalty.com, where we have the best and greatest men and women singing songs of praise. Visit that website. We have clothes for sale, things of that nature. Fringes, Border of Blue. So brothers, come join us. Sisters, come join us. IUIC TV, there's an app we got because we know YouTube is going to shut us down. They're going to cancel us. So we have an app, IUIC TV. Thank you. It's only, I believe, $1.99 or 99 cents. Join us, brothers, sisters, come join us.
Absolutely, Bishop. Absolutely. And you know what? I absolutely agree with what you're saying about them skewing the numbers, because at the end of the day, I've seen them unsubscribe my followers. In real time, I've seen them do this. And then people complain to me that they've been unsubscribed. And also, I know they skew the numbers because I know good and darn well, I actually have more subscribers than they show and more views than they show.
That's right.
But this is what they do because they want to stop the truth from being spread. My channel got shadow banned like literally within months of me coming on YouTube. Okay. And that's how you know the real from the fake, because there's a lot of people on YouTube that are speaking things that sound good, but they really don't have good intentions. They talk pro-black sometimes, but they work at the behest of wanting supremacy, is what I call them, because they're not superior or supreme, but they want to be. And so with that all being said, these their channels don't get bothered. They don't get shadow banned. They are monetized. They took away my monetization for telling the truth. So
hey,
I absolutely know how they do, but go ahead.
Can I say one thing?
Sure, go ahead.
7:6. Listen to what God says about our people. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So we are above all people. We just need y'all to believe that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Bishop, thank you. It has been my absolute pleasure. And listen, I would love to have you back on here again sometime. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. So I will. Yes, absolutely. I will definitely be in touch with you. I really appreciate it. And I want to thank you again for coming and blessing us with your knowledge and wisdom. And everyone in the chat, please, let's get those fire emojis in the chat before Bishop leaves. Okay, and so thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Love you.
Yes, shalom to you, beloved. And with that all being said, thanks everyone for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I have been your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and you have seen Bishop Nathanyel from Israel United in Christ. Okay, with that all being said, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method, in order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man will go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this